is kind of a decent example of, um, so in general, I might have mentioned before. blows up blows up pancakes with mine. My fucking obliteration. I was gonna say, like, in general, with creative writing being my hobby, I tend to be a bit of a stickler when it comes to, like, writing, especially characterization. I'm someone who takes it pretty seriously, and mainly because of how much I enjoy it, and how much I enjoy, like, being a nerd about writing and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of funny when, like, my heart just lets me, like, override my, writing critiques just to be like, okay, but this character cute though, we can give them a pass. Like, Bernadetta is honestly an interesting character. Bernadetta is an interesting character. My back. I was just saying that, like, Bernadette is an interesting character, sort of held back by the fact that her writing tends to make her rather serious issues come across as more of a joke than they should be. Like, everyone memes on the fact that most of Bernadetta's supports, C supports, have her like a lot of them have her like suffering a panic attack from her anxiety. But the music will be Funny Footsteps, which is the comedy theme it supports. So it's essentially framing. I'm not really one of those people who. I'm not really one of those people who subscribes to the notion that like if the game frames it as funny, that means they're framing the entire. That means they're framing like the concept of panic attacks as funny. But I can't see how that can be something that can be misconstrued, especially because then you look at like Three Hopes, which tends to like portray Bernadetta's character a lot like more tastefully than the original Three Houses did. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily an issue of like writing, and more so just the fact that like because Bernadetta's C supports have to start with her like the way she is, essentially. It can feel repetitive because the thing about Bernadetta is like her anxiety defines how she interacts with people because it's social anxiety. That would be cool, but at the same time, it's like. How much writing, how much voice acting you would have to do. It's not even like it's something that like Three Houses is necessarily like a stranger to, because stuff like the dining meal conversations also like taking into account support levels, but that's like checking to see if the two characters have a certain rank of support with each other in Byleth. But I can't imagine, like, you know. Whoa. This looks cool already. I like what I see. Like, by virtue of the fact that, like, Bernadetta suffers from this anxiety and stuff, she's someone that naturally has to, like, someone that naturally has to, but like I can understand like someone that like is going through like basically all overseas wars and seeing basically the same thing over and over again. It can get tedious, especially with other characters who where there's these hordes, even like the more like quote-unquote like gimmicky ones, can at least still have some varied interactions with each other. But I mean, to be honest, even if Bernadette is a bit of a controversial character due to people, like, honestly, due to people, like, trying to force the narrative that she is essentially just, like, the developers playing up abuse for laughs, which I just feel like is a bit of a, like, over-exaggeration. You can't kill her father, do yokes, which is based. Then you have characters I like who are genuinely just badly written, and I just don't love them. Fates, but not even just Fates, but specifically Perry. Like objectively horrible. Soleil is here. Yeah, but because of the weird homophobia revolving around like games at the time, she wasn't actually allowed to be a lesbian. They had to wait until Gay Fates. It was that Soleil, it was more so that like she basically expressed over and over about how she thinks girls are. Yeah. Oh. Is basically Soleil like really only likes girls. In fact, in her support with male Corman, she basically just has to like. She basically just says like, I can make an exception. She basically only really like interacts like flirtatiously with girls, which makes people think that like, yeah, that this bitch is gay. That's something that gets expanded more in like stuff like Gay Fates, which like actually gives her the ability to be homosexual instead of just implying it. You hear that like? Do you hear that like they're basically setting up for Persona 4 remake? Atlas. Atlas. You can never see Persona 4. Lord forbid you ever. I see. Felicia as female corn. Felicia. Okay. What was I gonna say? Yeah, with the Persona 4 remake, Atlas, Rena, state the Yosuke romance and my life is yours. I wanna kiss him so badly, you don't understand. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Kissing Yosuke officially is at the top of my needs. You understand me? Yeah. Plus, he's a surprisingly realistic depiction of how, like, what is it, internalized homophobia can manifest. Please. I can't tell what the spaghetti looking blocks. Spaghetti blocks. I was gonna say, if it could be boiled. I like how we have all this shit, and then we just have the buildings from Hydro in the background. Holy shit.